You're watching France 24, and you've just been listening to the French President Emmanuel Macron as he gave that address to French ambassadors here in Paris, a very long address that lasted about an hour, 45 minutes. I was listening to that with Bertrand Besancenot, who is a former French ambassador. Bertrand, welcome. Thank you for being here with us on France 24. I'm assuming you've been to these kind of addresses before in your past career as an ambassador. I mean, what stood out for you the most in what President Macron had to say? Because there was a lot. There's a lot to unpack.
No, as usual, the president made a very brilliant presentation, very exhaustive. This is why it is so long. But he had a very clear message, which is to say there is a sense in our public opinion, but even elsewhere, of what he called defeatism, saying that I would say skepticism about the new international order, the situation in our country, economic or politically, and other things. So he wants to say there is a kind of laisser-aller, giving the floor to what he called la pensée réactionnaire, that means the conservative thinking. And for that, his clear message is to say there is no fatality. We have to act, we have to be very active, and for this, France has different assets. And he, of course, recalled our defense capacity, the francophonie, and other things, which is to say we have our own assets and we have to play them. Second element, Europe is seen sometimes as not being so effective. And he says, but the future of our country is with Europe. We have in the new international order to give a new impetus to the European construction, because it is the best way to defend our own interest. And this is a very clear message. He said something about the next coming of President Trump as the new president, saying, I know that some people say, well, he will change everything, it won't be in our interest, and so on. And his answer, President Macron's answer, is to say, no, we have already worked with him, and he will listen to us if we are strong. So this is the message I have to give. Let us be strong as French, as European. He says something interesting, and I think this is the most innovative part of his presentation, a very, very clear and strong message against, if I may say, the Russian threat. I must say, on other points, there is no big announcement. But on the Russian threat, he has been extremely clear and saying that it is our duty to defend Ukraine, because it is not only defending Ukraine, it is defending our own values, our own interests. And on this, I must say, he has been particularly clear, and this is certainly the main message that I take.
Right. Just to interject there, he did say the U.S. must convince Russia to come to the table with Ukraine, but he also said Ukraine must be realistic over territorial issues. I mean, it sounds like he's just demanding compromise.
Well, he thinks that at the end of the day, and he said that there will be no immediate solution, clearly. But he said at the end of the day, Ukraine have to compromise, and Russia will have to compromise as well, which means, apparently in his mind, that you might have some territorial concession. I don't know if he's thinking about Crimea, but maybe it is what he has in mind. I take another point. It was interesting also, this is new to say we are too much frileux, I don't know, too much...
Nervous, scared.
Scared in Africa. Africa is a continent which is dynamic, where we have interest. We have to renew our approach of Africa, but we have to be less frivolous with Africa.
Yeah, it was interesting, too. He had quite strong words for Africa, saying that he basically didn't get a thank you after the French soldiers had been there for so many years. That was quite surprising.
I know, but I think he's right to recall, because sometimes you can see that he's fed up because many of our soldiers lost their life there. And of course, it was in support of the government against the terrorist threat. And he's convinced, as many are, that without this intervention, we would have a very different situation with the Daesh in Africa. So this is why he wants to say we didn't get a thank, and I regret it. I think it is a message to the African as well. We want to renovate, but don't criticize us as we didn't do anything there.
Of course, this coming after many African leaders asked French soldiers to leave. Just to
Yes,
everyone
exactly.
context.
And the last point is a very strong call in favor of the democratic values and universalism. Clearly, he thinks that too many people think that now we had dreams. Now clearly the conservative government thinks that they are more efficient, and many people in our countries which are skeptical about the situation say, let us see what it is. It is, of course, a strong message also to say, no, the democratic government, our values are the best and are the most effective. We could see that during the COVID crisis. And we have to defend multilateralism. And I think this was very clear. We know that in his mind, Europe and democracy and universalism are the main priorities that has to be defended.
Just a quick word before you go on climate, which was one of his final points. I mean, basically saying we haven't been strong enough.
Yes. Well, this is, I'm not sure there is something new. It is clear that we have been active on this file, and he wanted to recall, because many people say, let us go with more oil, we are hearing criticism coming from the South on that. So let us be less enthusiastic about the I don't know how you call that, but the climate change and all that. And so he thinks that, and even for our own interest, having less carbon is better for our economy as well.
Thank you so much, Bertrand Besancenot, for coming in and watching that speech with us and for giving us your analysis. You're a former ambassador. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.